Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to the Sports Talk Network channel. And welcome to this special episode, non-podcasting episode, as you can tell by the title of the video. And as always, you know where you can find me on Twitter at army_strong_06. But with the topic of anxiety that I did want to speak about today, I do have my guest of honor here today. Welcome here to the channel. Welcome here to this podcast video show, Ed, from Monty's Corner. Monty's Corner, how are you doing this afternoon?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. For a topic like this, I know we've had you on before in regards to anxiety, but this time specifically in regards to an update for me, in regards to how I've handled it. I guess for you, in regards to letting people know out there your anxiety situation or how that's been defeated in your end.
Yeah, no, look, thanks for having me. First and foremost, it's always a pleasure to be on the Sports Talk Network and everything else, all of your channels. Thank you very much again. Yeah, no, it's actually been it's hit or miss. My life with anxiety has obviously been going on longer than I thought or think that it has been happening. I mean, it's one of those situations where I had it for sure, like, 12, 13, maybe 15 years ago, maybe even when I was 18, I probably had my first anxious anxiety moment where I wanted to get out of a public place, that sort of thing. But eventually it got, I didn't know what the hell it was. And I think that back then, not a lot of people talked about it. Not a lot of people maybe even understood it. So we've been blessed with, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? With the patience behind it, the training, the therapists, the studies, the case studies, all kinds of great things happening that, it just, it's been one thing after another, and getting better and getting more accepted, and the awareness is much higher now than it used to be. Obviously people have different forms of it, I think everybody kind of experiences it at one form or another, but the difference is with a lot of people, in my opinion, that they'll come across it maybe a couple of times in their life, and they just deal with it and move on, and it doesn't really debilitate them the way it can debilitate somebody else. Myself, for instance, it gets very, very difficult just to function on a daily, basis, not even weekly or monthly or, an event or whatever. It's just out of nowhere. It can just hit you and ruin you if you're not careful, and if you get too overwhelmed, and if you just want to closet yourself. I'm getting really into it there, but and I'm sure we will a little bit more later on. But in a nutshell, it's something that's really, really been a big part of my life for the better half of the last 5 or 6 years, I would say. Some really good and some bad, and it's improved in a lot of ways. And in other ways, sometimes it hits me harder. So I look forward to hearing your update, Steve, for sure. I definitely have an update on my side on certain things. So I look forward to us talking about it, how we deal with it, how we get through it, and how we move with it, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool in regards to how you've been able to attack it, defeat it at times in regards to situations. But I definitely get you that, and I'm sure everybody else out there that has had or currently dealing with, let's just call it the darkest times of anxiety, when it literally is taking over your life, as it did with me as well. Where day-to-day things, day-to-day functions, I couldn't be able to be at specific areas or situations, whether it was because of my feeling of needing to be grounded. Like there was a while where I couldn't be in the dog park with my dog because it was a nice open space for the dog. But for me, I felt it was too open. I needed something to be closer. Where for some people, it's the opposite. Not wanting to be in short place or, claustrophobic kind of feeling and needing space and outward. I was the opposite. So, for me needing to be grounded in some ways, even to the point of using my late grandfather's walking cane, using his cane sometimes to get myself to walk around and be able to be in those situations and
Oh
feel
yeah.
comfortable that I am grounded with holding something in my hand instead of looking around and being like, oh wait, trying to touch it, and trying to touch something.
It's funny because they say that when you're having an episode, they say that there's like 5 things to do, right? Um, you observe something, you touch something, um, and there's a couple of others. I wish I knew all of them, but I know those were 2 of them. Um, and that's funny. I'm kind of like that too, though, Steve. It's funny you say that. Like, I have to have sometimes I just need to have something in my hand, or like I have to play with something. I have to chew gum. I have to have my sunglasses on. We all have our own little things that we kind of are a crutch, maybe. I don't know what it is. I try to not resort to those things, but it happens. For me, actually, one of them for me is my heart rate monitor. So I have a watch now that basically gives me my heart rate. All right. So when I am going through a hard time and I feel like I'm not breathing because I'm just too much is happening in my mind, and I feel like I'm not breathing, I'm about to hyperventilate, have a panic attack, whatever. For whatever reason, I look at my heart rate to make sure, okay, your heart's still beating, you're still alive, so just kind of keep going. For me, and I used before they had the watch ones, they had ones with a strap. So they had this,
Yeah.
you put a strap around your chest, and then it was linked to your watch. So literally, I'd be going to social events and functions, and I had this damn fucking strap on, like, which I didn't like. So let's say if I was going somewhere, let's say I was going to a lake house where we're all going to be swimming. So here I am, like, and then I'm like, now what am I going to do? I'm not going to keep it on because people are going to ask, well, why do you have that on? You're not like a professional swimmer. And it draws that attention. So you have 2 choices. In my mind, it was like, well, I could take it off and suffer, or I'm going to leave it on and suffer. So I had to find a new one. And then when they came out with it now, where it just takes your pulse from your hand or your wrist. For me, that one really helped me. And but there was times where before all that kind of stuff happened, I can for sure see why you would need to have something like to kind of ground yourself. For me, that was the weird way of grounding myself, to say like, no, you're okay, everything's fine, and just keep going. It's the weirdest but yet most uncomfortable thing at the same time.
Yeah, for me it was going to family functions, whether it was my nephew's confirmation and first birthday last year, party at a local park, an area, and first being all right to drive there because it was kind of off-road, higher mile per hour sort of things. Because for a while I wasn't able to go on the highway. That was another issue.
I remember that.
When I was younger, I loved it, but now I can't or couldn't as I'm trying to get back onto it. But at the time, just being able, I did a test run of it, then I did it. It's like in my mind, I had to know that I could do it first before actually then doing it. And that helped me to get there. And then when there, it was like, okay, I either keep this cane in the car and just go and deal with it and try to be fine because, there's hundreds of people in a sense, with family and stuff and close by, they'll be fine, they'll understand. And they'll be there for you if something ever actually did happen, pass out or anything. Or B, I take it in with me, get the 20 questions of why I have this cane with me at 30 years old, and what's up with that sort of thing. So what I decided to do is I kept the cane in my car and just strutted on and soldiered on and did what I had to do, and it was fine. I stayed, was focused on the party and of the interaction with family and Caden opening his presents and everything, and just focused on those things that then it wasn't even in my mind until the end of the day when I'm coming back to my car and looking at my cane at the cane again, my grandfather's cane. It's like, oh right, that was here all the time,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So those sort of moments,
Yep.
and now it's the point where I kept the cane downstairs now for a while and go through a day, come back downstairs to go to bed, and be like, oh look, I still have this cane and it's here. I didn't need to think about it or need it today.
Yep.
Trying to not it be my actual crutch, and to be able to do that. But in regards to an update, in regards to me telling my story in a facet of videos, which everybody, whether you're watching live or archived, they are on the miscellaneous playlist. You can search them out. But for this edition of Anxiety Battle, the update here is that, well, in regards to my therapy sessions, they are actually soon to be ending. It's going to be ending therapy, and we'll be just trying to move on in my life, everything that I learned from therapy. He did say, though, if I need to, I am welcome to come back. But he did flat out say, I don't think you need it anymore. I think you've gotten to a point where you have taught, given you things you've done the work, blah, 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 that he said. And that, we may be having our last 2 to 4 sessions here, end of this year, early next year, because he wants to see how I am with the holidays. And then just go on with life, and go from there. So that's part of the update. Other part of the update is I found what the epicenter of my anxiety is, so I can get to this point of finishing therapy, on that being a president when I was in the military and living in Hawaii. It's called a bad relationship, and how that subconsciously kept with me and then brought on the anxiety to take over my life and stuff like that. So finding that and trying to start to heal now in regards to that, and being able to just get rid of that and just push it aside and be able to just move on in my life in that way. And then the third part of my update, so there's finishing therapy, there's finding the epicenter of it, and the third part is highway driving, getting back on the highway, doing more of the driving, doing more riding as well, riding with people. So it was twofold. I couldn't drive or ride with someone on the highway for more than 5 minutes. But now I can do longer stretches. I'm not as freaked out or trying to hold someone's hand while doing it, that I can be the old Steven, but also being a new Steven. As they say, as you get older, you get wiser. You have more experience in life. I think with anxiety and this going through it, which will never leave me, it is the fight or flight of your, what God gave you. But going through this, dealing with it, not only will help me to share with others that are going through the darkest times, as I call it, of anxiety.
Yeah.
But for myself to learn from it and be able to be like, hey, you made it through this. You made it through your military years. You made it through anxiety during your other years. And that just being another badge of honor in my personal life, to be able to know that, I am worthy. I have a future. I am worthwhile in regards to having a life. I am worth all of this, and be able to move forward in my life. So those are my three parts of my personal update in regards to as it goes with anxiety, which forever will be a never-ending battle, but at least defeating it in its specific battles.
I have a question for you. How often was your therapy? Weekly? A couple times a week? How long was each session?
It was weekly for an hour.
Weekly for an hour. Nice. And you just kind of went over. Are you allowed to talk about your session? Because
if I want to.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is because I never did it, and I was considering maybe looking into it pretty soon, just to see what the. I mean, clearly there's some upside because it helped you, right? So that's nice to hear from a close friend that there is benefits to it. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I in regards to went with the therapy for anxiety over taking medication for anxiety, because I think I've shared this with you before, is I am a person that likes to have the least amount of medication in my body in my life, unless it absolutely needed to. The last time I took medicine was years ago when I had a bout of acid reflux situation. So, but for anxiety, I decided to go therapy to not need that. And in regards to the actual therapy sessions, we actually talked about other things beyond just anxiety. I mean, that was the main goal, but we kind of talked about the other aspects of what could be causing it. We talked about my younger years of anger issues and how that might have played a part in it. Competitive spirit, me being adopted in that situation, my first 2 years of life, and that maybe being a reason why, feeling I'm needed to be close to someone, because I was in a sense abandoned, but I had to be let go by my birth parents for their reason, So,
Yeah.
So other different aspects of things, trying to find what the commonality is, to find what the actual, like I said, the core of the situation was, what brought it on. I talked about the passing of my grandparents, 2016, 2018. Like, there's so many things that were brought up through 2 years of therapy that that wasn't always every week and every time about anxiety, the subject. It was about me, the person that was looking to anxiety. So there was definitely a lot of other things brought up to get to where our end game was. A lot of homework to do as well. As you put in, I did the work in regards to finally ending to do therapy, doing the homework, the assignments of doing more short drives in that part of it, to beat that anxiety, to try to walk on literally a simple homework assignment, at least to others would be simple, was on our sidewalk here by my house to walk the longest part of it without using the cane and going back and forth a couple of times. Like other things like that, trying to get yourself out of your comfort zone. And then most recently, in regards to the relationship that kind of caused anxiety to come back in my life, or to actually come in my life, that relationship from my Hawaii time days, that one of just letting it go, and of just whatever came from that is just pushing it, out of your life as I have. So yeah, there's, that is what exactly, or kind of what was talked about along with other things and situations of life, and kind of going back and forth, talk about good things too, right? My good parts of life, the most happy, to then to the negative ones. And with that one brought up about, okay, you see this side of your list, all the good things, all the things, how that made you feel happy, successful, proud. That could be your regular life. That could be your day-to-day. But all this bad stuff that's happened to you in your 30 years, that's what's brought on the anxiety. But if you just take all that and you just move it away and just let it be its own, maybe bad memories, but still part of your life, because they're never not going to be, it's your life. But focus on the positives over here and on how those made you feel. That is you. That is the actual you. You just need to find that you. And I think I slowly have.
I like how you said that, because one thing that I noticed, an update, I guess, on my side was for a good, like it seemed year and a half from like 2000, like I say about 2017 and 2018 included for, a little bit into 2019, but really mostly those 2 years. I started my day, which I still do. I started my day with just like positive, like affirmations and gratitude and things like that. Just, what I'm grateful for and stuff like that. So I felt like it helped ground me for the day to come, whatever was to come my way, because I was just really grateful for everything: my life, my health, my family, my friends, my wife, my house, like everything under the sun that I can think of. I would just start my day off like that. Like genuinely, it would help me a lot. But everything was kind of rolling really well, like really, really good. And, not to say that it's not now, but obviously things are a little bit different, a little bit more challenging, a little bit more different. That's all really. Just nothing nothing necessarily bad, just different circumstances, different scenery, different atmospheres, different challenges. I probably said that already, but whatever. And I felt like that really helped me. So it kind of goes hand in hand, I think, with what you're saying. The positive experiences and what, that could be your life. And I really do think that there is a common link between the two. Whereas if you're constantly, if you start your day or end your day on just negative and bad thoughts, bad interactions, bad everything, then it's just gonna go into the next day and the next morning and then the next night, and then it's just a very vicious cycle, and you can really get trapped and lost into that one. So I know I'm going to dig deep in the next couple of weeks and really, really ground myself in that respect, put in that time, because I feel like, and I'm a victim of it. In the last probably, 8-9 months, I'm a victim of, waking up in the morning, checking my phone, and that's it. That's all I've been doing. And I'm like, this is not what I was doing before. I was only doing that before to check YouTube, to kind of ground myself through prayer, positive affirmations, positive gratitude. Just I would allocate like 10-15 minutes every morning, sometimes longer, sometimes like an hour, like sometimes from the time I woke up, and then I work out in the gym, and then I would like listen to even more stuff on the way from the gym to when I started work, and that was the best. That was the best time for me, for sure. So I'd like to kind of get back into that, and I need to, because that was the best. But it's hard though. So instead, sometimes you go and you check, and you go and you check your social media crap, and Twitter's bad, man. Like, I don't know about you, I really can't stand Twitter these days. Like, there's too many fake people out there. There's too many negative comments. There's too many negative things. It's just, I don't know, man. I find it really bad. Facebook is not as bad, but I find Twitter the worst. There's just too many characters that I just can't get behind, if that makes sense. Like, too many people out there. And for some reason, because somebody I follow likes their shit or retweets it, I just keep seeing this one. And I'm like, I don't like you. And I don't want to block somebody because they didn't do anything to me. But at the same, and I'm not going to be able to go through life where, I don't like this person, or I don't like his views, so I want to block myself. No, I have to be able to see that shit and get through it and not let it faze me and not let it bother me and all this stuff. But when you start your day off with crap like that, I feel like it's hard. So but it's addictive, right? Like, so, yeah, it's behavior issues. You wake up in the morning, and if you've done it for like a month, well, you're going to get up and do it again. It's just how it is. So I have to reprogram and go back to where I started from again, and start those good habits again, and figure that out, because I know for me that was a big part. Like, I swear to God, there was times and weeks that went by, and I didn't have any episodes. Like, life was beautiful, and here's what they say: it's easy to be grateful when things are going well. It's harder to be grateful when things aren't going well. 2019 hasn't been the best year for me. I'm not gonna lie. Things are very good at home with my wife and I, and we have a beautiful house that we live in, and I was blessed with a new job opportunity and stuff like that. But with that becomes anxiety, right? Like, and that's something that everybody kind of faces when they start a new job. It's nerve-wracking. You want to do well, you want to do this, you want to be yourself, but it's just that anxiety just always jumps in there at inopportune times, and you're like, fuck, I don't want it here right now, but I have to have it here right now. And are they seeing it in me? Are they seeing that side of me? What do they think about it? Is it going to affect my status, if you will? Like, you just don't know. There's some people that are super accepting about the whole thing, and then there's still other people out there that maybe they don't understand it, or they're like, well, what do you have to worry about? It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So, I mean, look, there's things that are obviously going on in my personal life, which are not really horrible or anything. They're just challenges. They're just challenges that I have to get through and stuff. But unfortunately, like I said before, like it's hard to be grateful for all these fucking challenges that come your way. It's really, really tough, but you have to do it. You have to do it. And that's my plan to do it. So my update on my side is basically my anxiety has been horrible for the last for about the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially. I started a new job about a month and a half ago. First couple of weeks were decent, really well. Since then, and the job's going great, by the way. Like no problems.
That's
like
good.
you know, and thankfully that like I did the right thing. There's no regrets there. There's no there's no back talk. Like no, like the job is fantastic. I love it. I love what I do now again. And I liked what I did before, but I like this more, and I see a better and brighter future. But with that, it comes with what I'm doing right now. Believe it or not, even though I am a YouTuber, which obviously helps me in a way, it's very I have to do presentations sometimes, right? I have to do web presentations, so it's like we're sharing a screen, and I have to explain to you why my product is really good and why you should go with it. I work in energy management systems now, so I sell smart thermostats to like hotels and multi-dwelling units, student dorms, assisted senior living residents, stuff like that. So those are that's my audience, right?
Mhm.
And I have to, basically speak to potential customers on why our thermostats are saving the world, because that's what we're doing. It decreases energy costs, so it reduces your carbon footprint and all these things, but I still have to do the presentation, right? So I have to be on the ball for like 15, 20 minutes straight. And I've done that. Thankfully, YouTube has helped me to showcase my personality. But with that, it's like, this is something I almost have to do every single day. And then there's going to be trade shows. I'm going to be traveling. I don't necessarily love flying, but I have to do it. So I have to go with these people and literally be there in a room where I'm not comfortable already, where there's probably going to be thousands of people, and I'm going to have to, be on my game for those couple of hours or maybe that whole day or whatever the case is. So I know that there's big challenges ahead of me, and I just have to attack those things one at a time as they come, and maybe I'll be successful, and maybe there's going to be some situations where I fail, and that's okay, but it doesn't make it any less difficult, because what I was doing before, in both jobs, I'm on the phone, but in this new job, I'm going to be definitely more personable and definitely more independent. Whereas before, I would maybe do a customer meet once a year, maybe if I was lucky, and then I would maybe do a customer travel visit maybe once a year again, but really it wasn't that much. So with this, it's like it's a lot more out there, but I knew that going in. This wasn't a surprise. I took the choice to go and take this opportunity because I knew that this was the right stage and that next step for me in my journey of life. So very happy about it. But with that, the last 3-4 weeks have been very tough. Mind you, I was sick earlier this week. I had what we call it gastro in Canada. I don't know what they call it universally, but basically it was a bad stomach flu.
Yeah.
So I didn't love the idea that I missed 2 days of work already after only working there for 6 weeks, but I just couldn't function. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't leave my bed. It was awful. I quit smoking, so I vape. I've been vaping for 5 years. And then once you get down to a really low nicotine level, and I even tried going to zero, which is basically like no nicotine at all, a common side effect is anxiety. So I had a lot on my plate the last couple of weeks, and I don't know if I'm putting too much pressure. Maybe it's not a good time for me to quit the vaping or whatever. And there's a lot of stories out there how it's not good, but I know that that's not really tied into the device that I use. I don't vape weed and I don't vape cartridges and all that shit. And I feel great, but it's in my fucking head, right? When you have anxiety, something happens to you, it's in your head. So I'm like, well, I'm vaping, I have a hard time breathing. So obviously my mind goes to, oh my God, it's the vaping, it's killing me and I'm going to die. That's just how it is. So the last 3-4 weeks have been tough, but I'm really hoping that it was just like a big a test to just keep going, because I am going to keep going, and I'm going to figure this out. Whether I need to start doing therapy just to sort of talk a little bit about it. Truth be told, talking about it now helps. So I can't see why talking with a professional wouldn't help me. Again, it's time out of my day, but I think it's time probably well spent. I'm still exercising. I'm still doing all these wonderful things, but I know I need to, that's my update, Steve. I wish I could tell you that everything is amazing, but the truth is, it's been a tough go. The last 3-4 weeks have been really hard for me. It's been really, really difficult, but I'm hanging tough. I'm staying strong. I'm staying optimistic about it, and I'm going to tweak and make those changes what I need to do in order to kind of get back on my feet. That's it,
Yeah, I know. I appreciate the honesty. That's for sure. And in regards to my positive update and everything, things can change. Hopefully, it does stay on course for me and be able to stay that course and be able to improve as I have. And I obviously wish the same for you and your journey in regards to situations arising currently for you. Bring on the anxiety. That with therapy or just however you decide to go down or avenue you take, that in due time be able to find and be at your happy place and be able to not worry so much about it or having to battle it as much as previous. So there's for that, but in regards to anxiety and battling, and I know we talk about panic attacks and having them in the past, and from the show that we like, like This Is Us, most recent episode talking about that with the character there and how that's going here with this new season, and everything. I guess just to kind of keep it pushing on a lighter note, just get your quick thoughts here while you're here on your enjoyment or your thoughts on the fourth season so far of This Is Us.
It's a great season so far. It started off, I wasn't really a massive fan of it. I mean, that's not true. It's not that I wasn't a massive fan of it. I was just like, okay, where's this going? But I was talking to certain people, and I was like, people think that, okay, after 2 or 3 seasons, this whole thing's going to be done. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think they have enough situations and enough character build that they can pass this on to their kids, and maybe their kids and meaning like situations, and they can still like go back in time and talk about what happened with Jack, and they can still go back in time and talk what happened with Mickey and the mother, and I forget her name right now. Jeez, Mandy Moore, but like Rebecca. There you go. And you can still do all kinds of shit like with that. You can. How's it going to happen when they go to school? What challenges are they going to face, and all this kind of stuff. But let's be honest. This Is Us is essentially, let's take every single bad experience in life and let's talk about it. That's why everybody can relate to it. They've all experienced breakups. They've all, or maybe not everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Like it'll always go to a certain audience.
Right. Someone can connect with it and relate to it.
Yeah. Miscarriages, trouble to conceive, a parent that unfortunately died when their people are younger, a disconnect in the family where you don't talk to a sibling or maybe a mom or dad. Everybody has something. Everybody has something is what I'm trying to say. And even if you haven't experienced these things, normally the kind of audience it caters to, bigger hearted people and whatever, that have been through stuff and they feel like they're not alone. They can empathize with the audience or the characters, like, oh, I never been raped before, but I feel really bad for her. Or like, I never had a miscarriage, but that's too bad. Like, I feel like there's a there's a demographic out there that they've obviously touched on, that basically you can have the audience kind of in and say, okay, well, what's going to happen next? Because the reason why we watch this show is for everything to work out. But we also know at the back of our head that, okay, it might not work out. We want to see how it unfolds one way or another. And I think at the end of the day in this show, what it really, really stems from is like things happen, but in not in a cold way, but life goes on, and you have to find the strength and the support system wherever that is, your friends, family, yourself, whatever, or relationship, in order to continue to go on. It basically teaches you not to give up when life gets hard. That's my reason for watching the show, and that's probably the whole idea behind This Is Us, right? So, talking about specifics, if you want, let's go into the fact of Kate and Toby having a deaf child. I called that when I did in the first episode. As the episode went, I was like, I'm feeling that's Kate's kid. I just have this feeling because, fucking poor thing never gets a break, So I'm like, oh, and that happened. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go with Toby and Kate. It looks like they're having some challenges, like maybe getting on the same page with it. I mean, that can't be easy. So they're learning to it. They're learning through the whole thing. They're selling it well, if that makes sense. Like, if their acting is very good, so I'm interested to see is that going to take a toll on their relationship, because we don't know what happens with Kate. When we saw the finale of season 3, she wasn't there, right? Like, we didn't see Kate. So we saw Toby that wasn't really super happy. He was by himself in a room, and then he's like, okay, I'll make it out there, but he didn't really seem down. So which way is this going? Is Kate and Toby still together? Is Toby, did Kate die at some point? Did they divorce? Or maybe they're fine. We don't really know. Like that story, I can't wait to see what happens. Clearly we know what happens with Rebecca. She probably, has some form of maybe dementia or Alzheimer's eventually down the road. So they're gonna obviously, and that's gonna be a tough one. That's gonna be a hard one for a lot of people to watch, right?
No, for sure.
Fuck. I mean, that's a shitty topic to get into. Randall, and you could see that they're touching on the anxiety again because his daughter has it. That one hit close to home for me in that episode, because it makes me worry when I have a kid. Is my anxiety disorder going to be passed on? Like, that sucks if so. It's like you said, I have all these wonderful qualities, and the one fucking quality I don't like, he didn't use those words, of course, but right. The one quality I hate about myself, I gave it to my daughter. That's brutal, So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with that. It's not a good thing, in my opinion, that he's just kind of like, what's it called? Ignoring what's happening around him in a way, for his own status, for his own symptoms, and his own breakdowns. He's gonna break down again. That's just how it's gonna go. And then we'll see. And then maybe his daughter will be there for him, and they're going to support each other throughout this whole thing. And again, maybe it's going to be some great moment. We don't know, but that's interesting. What do you like so far about it?
Yeah, I thought it very interesting, especially like you said with the end of the previous season in regards to that. And I saw other people's theories and whatever. I first thought that maybe she did pass away, and that's why he wasn't wearing a ring either, or whatever. At least what I thought I saw there in the final shot of last season. So I was thinking that's where it was going.
Yeah.
Especially with talking about her weight issues and everything, and trying to the complications with having a child, what that could bring on, and everything that could kill her. So, with that being brought up as well, that I thought, okay, maybe that could be where it's going. But the good mark of any show is with having a cliffhanger first, but second, with something like that has people theorizing so many different ways and different ideas of where they think that meant or what it meant and then how it meant, in that way. But for me, my first thought was going to she probably passed away, and he's kind of being distant to people because maybe it happened soon, if not a month or so from that moment in regards to that scene. So at that future time. So either way, I think that's where or what that was about, or I thought that was about. In regards to the start of the fourth season, I think the most interesting is Nikki and learning about him and his regards to war and everything and military. That's my own wheelhouse, but with him and how that is, I think that's where I'm looking forward to seeing moving forward. As I see video cut out, Mounty's Corner will return soon. But anyways, that's where.
Sorry about that. I'm back. I don't know what happened there.
No, that's okay. But as I was saying, the Nikki storyline is the biggest thing I'm looking forward to them diving into moving forward in regards to his situation coming back from the war and everything, and military being my wheelhouse in general with Jack and Nikki, but still Nikki specifically and how it's really torn him under, almost in a way that I relate to with anxiety taking away my life in a sense for a while. Well, with him, it was a different thing. So seeing him rebuild in the road to his own recovery and knowing that in the end he's not a bad person, he's just in a bad state of mind, bad situations that goes from his own actions. So I think Nikki, out of all the characters and storylines, I'm actually the most interested to see how that moves forward here for the continuation of the fourth season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like the Mickey storyline is, I wasn't sure about it at first, but now, like, as I've been watching and paying attention, like, it is definitely a very good one. I'm really enjoying it. I like the fact that Kevin's sort of involved too, because they have that in common. The alcoholism and everything. So they can relate to each other and help each other out and stuff like that. So, and also it ties into how Kevin seems to be going in a direction of being with this girl who's also the alcoholic and has I think they have a son or something like that, or a kid. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Kevin and that woman, because clearly, like, that woman's husband doesn't want to be with her anymore, just to some degree. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But that's kind of exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just trying to log in now, and so I can use the comments, the chatting comments, because I don't think I'm able to. So I'm new to this whole thing, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I have a thing from Everything Pro Wrestling, Conrad, just chiming in here, saying hi and asking us how we're doing. And he wanted to shout out Mounty, saying that he said, Mounty, wish we could have met up at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that was, I was there for like the 2 days, and it was so jam-packed. Like, I saw my uncle for, a good portion of that time. Like, I think we got in there, I think it was Saturday around 1 o'clock or something like that, or 12. And I saw him for a little bit, and then I went to go meet Randy Orton and, stuff like that. So then after we went back to see my uncle, and then the next day it's like, boom, get in the hotel room. I was supposed to meet up with another friend. It didn't really work out. And then I was supposed to, another friend from Montreal, I was supposed to maybe even meet up with Heel by Nature, and it didn't really work out. And I would have loved to have met Conrad as well. But it was just, and then once you're at the arena, it's like, I met a couple. I met X3, and I met another friend from Montreal, and I ended up bumping into a third guy from Montreal as well. You want to do all these things, but at the same time, you kind of, I'm sure Conrad understands, being a YouTuber, content creator, and so forth, you got to watch the show too, right? And it's just, there wasn't as many breaks and situations where I could like get away from my seat as I thought there was going to be. Like it was a pretty jam-packed show, and it was a good time. But yeah, no, for sure, we're gonna have to figure out something, man, because that was a missed opportunity, unfortunately. So I apologize.
But yeah, so in regards to This Is Us, it's a good start for another season. Also, at least for my own channel and stuff, I'm doing my weekly reviews of Riverdale, and that show's been popping and doing well for its own fourth season. I know Malik's big into that show too, Malik Kelly. But yeah, and then the other shows like I talked about, The Single Parents, a good show. Another show I liked, I am liking a lot, Last Man Standing. That show is good. So I certainly have I've gotten into a lot of shows, and then Perfect Harmony because of music, kind of being like a Glee there. So, anyways, oh, I see he left as I was looking away. Another crash or something happened there. Just trying to log in. But anyways, yeah, well, 45 minutes talking anxiety, TV shows, and other things. Thank Conrad for being here, and I did see a couple other people join in. Shout out to Allie, my female friend, for coming for a couple moments watching live. I appreciate that, Allie, and I look forward to talking to you later on your thoughts, because I know you can't watch now. You're busy and stuff, but we can talk on an Instagram or somewhere about your thoughts on the subject. But thanks for coming in for a short time, and to others as well. Oh, he's back. There we go.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to get used to this and log in under my name so I can chat. It's not really letting me. Only a private chat that I like to talk in, but it's not letting me. I'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, I think in regards to the YouTube chatting, I think you can only do that if you're on the actual live video. And the host can chat in here with the live chatters.
Cool.
On StreamYard, I think. I think that's the difference for guest and host. So that's unfortunate, I guess, in that way. But anyways, his last comment I saw from Everything Pro Wrestling, just saying 100% get it, Mountie. I think in regards to, so that from Conrad Cushman.
Yeah, thanks, Conrad. I definitely will, brother. We're gonna collab soon. Have you on the channel? Have Stevie. Gotta get it done, man. Gotta get some insight. Gotta get it going again. The channel. I have so many ideas, and I need to put in a little bit of time to do it. So,
hey,
figure it out.
Conrad, if you're still here right now, which I don't know if you are, I gave this idea to Mountie already before we went live, but I'm looking to do a AEW versus WWE video sometime in the future on the channel. Monty said he's down, so I don't know if you'd be available, Conrad. Get our schedules to work, and maybe a fourth person or fifth person. Get Kyron and Malik with us too, and have our own four horsemen. Four to five people, and versus AEW. I think that's a big topic. We can go hours about it.
Yeah.
But just sharing that if Conrad's still here. Excuse me. Apologize for that.
Yeah, looking.
But yeah, definitely wanted to bring that up while if Conrad was still here, because I think that's a great idea. We can do of a subject of wrestling that everybody will definitely be able to participate and want to participate in, talking about a subject like that has many working parts in regards to that. Okay, all right. Get at me in my DMs. All right, well, we'll get to you out there, and we'll see. And we will, I guess, go from there. But back to anxiety and back to that and back to the topic at hand in regards to our stories and our updates. So to Conrad and everybody joining in late, you're welcome to watch the whole thing later on. But just for, kind of to put a bow on, wrap the bow on this topic in regards to anxiety, for you, at least in your experience, past and current, in regards to your battle with anxiety and everything, what do you think the things that you've learned from your past experiences to help you now with your current one?
Well, I without therapy, without drug therapy as well, I only took medication for 3 months, and that was back in, I don't know when, 2014 when I first started. I did a lot of self-help books, ebooks, videos, not my own videos, but watching other people's videos, doctors talking about anxiety and panic attacks. One of them, I got a lot out of it, was the fact of just literally whatever symptom and everything else that you're experiencing, it is just, you have to accept it, and instead of fighting against it, and avoiding these places that make you uncomfortable. The biggest thing for that I took away from it was being comfortable in your anxious discomfort. If that makes sense. It did a lot to me, because ideally, if you don't get comfortable in it, it gets worse, and then you're going to avoid that place, and you're going to avoid the next place, and it just, it's just a bad recipe. So the moral of the story is, apparently, anxiety is very treatable, but the thing is like, we don't realize how resilient we are against anxiety. We have all these skills, but we just don't tap into them. And this doesn't have the power to control our life, but we're kind of giving it wings, and we're letting it soar, more so than we think, or more so than we really want to ultimately. But it's just how we react to it. And if you react to it a certain way, and again, this is not easy. You have to put yourself in these situations. So Steve, for your argument's sake, what you did that day when you went back into your car, and however you did it though, you did it. Most people wouldn't maybe stay away. I know for me too, like, I was staying away from public places and events. I missed so many birthdays in my first year. Not my own. Well, I wanted to miss my own. No, I didn't want to do my own. Honestly, everybody else wanted to do something for me, and I didn't. And that's how it is. Anxiety is funny like that, because the situations and places you don't want to go to, all of a sudden people are asking you to go to them. It's like a massive test, and the truth is you literally have to kind of do them. The more I did them, the better I felt, I guess, because then you could look back and say, well, I did go there, and I did survive, and I did do well, and maybe I didn't even have an episode, or I didn't even have any bad thoughts. Maybe it was just a situation where I had fun, and it doesn't necessarily mean that every single time is going to be fun like that, but it's nice to know that I didn't give in and stay home and do fuck all about it, because sometimes that's worse.
Right. And in regards to that, it's called, having a positive experience. If you have a positive experience, even though the next opportunity, the next hangout is different, like one was a wedding and the next one's a birthday, it's different situation, but still a party or event with people that that you have that positive recent, so not just general, but recent positive experience that you were able to go to this other event to take and grab hold on to almost make you go to have the next positive. And then that can be its own positive snowball that can snowball for positivity as much as bad thoughts can snowball for you negatively mentally, because it's the brain. And the brain is the biggest powerful thing you have in your body.
It is. And going back to what I was saying before, about the positivity and the gratitude, like, work was a big one for me. Like, my old workplace was a massive trigger. I had panic attacks at work. I missed time at work. And I was getting questioned a lot, borderline in trouble, because I was missing days, but they didn't understand it, and it was tough. And I didn't want to go on sick leave or burnout or any of that stuff, because I'm like, no, I'm better than this, and I don't want that to be on my record. And I not that I'm better than it, but it was just, I didn't want it to beat me. I didn't want it to beat me. And next thing you know, like you said, it could become a very positive, and it was, because work was going really, really well, and I was making a ton of money, a ton of commission. The market was booming in my previous job for like a good year and a half, and like, I couldn't wait to go back. I couldn't wait. Every day I was like, okay, here we go. Let's go make some more. And then, like, I had no problem kind of going back into my job area and making more money and doing whatever. And then that tied into other things like, hey, you want to go out for lunch today? Oh, okay. I went out for lunch, and I don't like going out for lunch necessarily with people. I don't like restaurants. I do like restaurants. Like,
No, I'm a big boy. I like to eat, but the actual concept of me sitting down for like 2 hours, or an hour, it's not really an idea of fun for me. No matter who's with me, I could be there with fucking Randy Orton, or I could be there with anybody that I love and respect, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to enjoy that time. Fireworks are basically going off inside my head, and it sucks. So, but going back to what you said, it created a positive environment and a positive experience where I stopped looking at it like, hey, I'm going to work where I'm uncomfortable. I started looking at it like, no, like things are going well. I'm going to go back there because I actually felt okay there. So it was really interesting how like things can just change. And I just started like playing a little game with myself. Like when I first, started missing days for anxiety, and then I would go back and I'm like, okay, I stayed one full day at work. Nice. And then 2 full days. And then I would have a really, really bad day. And I was like, oh my God, I want to leave. I'm going to leave at lunchtime. I'm going to go home, take the rest of the day off. And I just stuck it out. And then, oh, wow, I got through that. So now we're at day 3 and now day 4. And then next thing you know, I look back and I'm like, shit, I haven't missed a day of work from anxiety related in, 5 years. Like, holy shit, like it's just, you got to play a little bit of a game with yourself too. And not necessarily, throw in the towel as soon as you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, right.
Find ways to sort of work with it. For me personally, when things were getting a little bit too hectic, I just put the headphones on. I'd listen to a familiar video that I would listen to over and over and over again. I would listen to it for like 3 or 4 times in a row and take that 15 minutes break to myself. And then just, do that and kind of get right back into my zone. And that helped me. But it's funny because at the end of the day, guys, understand that you can read and you can learn so much about anxiety and all this other stuff. But once these problems and symptoms and overwhelming feelings hit you, you might not remember any of that. And that's okay. But you just have to kind of tap right back into that region of your brain where you're like, well, no, I've actually been through this, and I succeeded through this, and I've succeeded through much worse, So the biggest things that I have for you is to accept it, ask it to get worse, whatever your situation is. If you feel like you're not breathing, ask for it to get worse. Say, okay, fine, I'm not going to breathe. If you're having chest pains, ask for more chest pains. And then, I guess I'm having a heart attack. Oh, well, oh, well is the biggest one. Like, or so what? So what? That one helps me the most because it flips the tables. Now it puts, instead of the anxiety has the power on you, now it's put you in a position of power because you're no longer really afraid of it because you're just like, I don't care anymore. And it's easier said than done, but I promise you put that into practice, it's really, you'd be surprised on what you can kind of get through. Or if you go to a place, sorry, Steve, but if you go to a place like for you where you're driving, I challenge you to go out and drive like 5 times a day. Just keep going. And then go to that place and say, I'm going to go to that place, and I like bring somebody with you or something and be like, watch what's going to happen to me when I drive. And all of a sudden you're going to drive and be like, I'm okay, actually. It doesn't come when you expect it to come. It comes to you when you don't expect it, in a way. It's weird. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I try to take that your advice, but still for me, whether it was even current or previous, I still got myself scared even if I should have tried your way. Because remember you bringing that up the last video of to say to get worse, that it just, even for me at that time, it got me actually even a little bit more scared. Like, oh, I don't want this to happen. That's why I'm scared in the first place. Like, it's hard for me to thinking because you don't want heart attacks or stop breathing. You don't want to wish that upon yourself. So
you don't. But
so it's just like it was, messing with my mind that way. So it's like I want to use that, but it was hard to get to that point for myself to try to beat the moment in regards to that. But for me, when I was in a situation, because even though like I had positive experiences, each situation make your head sometimes makes you feel like it's the first time, not the 30th time. And what I did is I just went to my Audible link, and played my
Okay.
book here, Murder on Mystery Island, the Who Done It series, and just listen to that. And even though yes, it's about murder and stuff, it still was refreshing to me and real calming in a weird way. But that's what I did, and that's it's kind of like you were talking about with the headphones and a video or music. For me, it was of a book from a TV show. So I mean, that for me was able to relax me, and even just the soothing voice of Gilbert Jackson, the actor who does the audio of the audiobook here, just listening to him and being able to just follow along. Hey, but yeah, it's just like Whitney Wine. And you just play it and just being able to be in my own zone and be able to be relaxed. But I do take on your challenge though, in regards to driving, and might be doing that here in the next week. I'm kind of busy tonight with the football stuff with family, with the Packers, but also wanted to say in the chat, I see Hunter Gaming saying hello. So hello, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, Hunter.
But yeah, I get what you mean also about the lunches. I mean, I mean, to be honest, it may not have freaked me out as much as for your personal situation. But there were times when I was having lunch, with my best friend, Tyler, and hanging out with him, that I was, because of where I was or the situation or a booth or table, it was because at moments I was thinking of other things. Like, oh, get home for the dog. Is she ripping into things? Did I make sure I locked the door tight enough in her kennel so she's not getting out? Even though we're enjoying each other's company and talking about serious stuff or fun stuff, that sometimes that stuff crept in, and then getting anxiety about now I have to get right home, right back, like that, home stuff.
Yeah.
How it affected me. I don't know. I'm sure maybe it was different for you for how it actually affected you. But for me, when having lunches or times with people, I at moments think of stuff at home and feeling like scary things going on I need to be home for.
Yeah, you go to a worst case scenario, You're like, oh, that's it. My dog got out, and maybe I didn't close the front door properly. Did I lock the door? Maybe can you open the door? And he's gone. Like your mind goes, and then you go home and he's in the cage. No problem. So
and she's looking at you while you're freaked out, but she's just waking up from a nap.
Yeah. No, I think it's obviously a different form of it. For me, it was just like, I don't want to be here, and I don't want people to realize the fact that I'm uncomfortable and that it looks like I'm sweating or it looks like I'm breathing heavy. I don't want them to look at me and be like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" Like, no, I don't want that. Like, because then it just gets worse. That's when it first happened. Like, I didn't know what was going on, and somebody's like, "Is everything okay?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know actually." And then I went with it because I didn't know. And then like I thought something was really wrong and go to the hospital, and they did all these tests and they found nothing. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm okay, And so I knew from that point on that I was okay. I just had to, deal with whatever symptom that I had and just cut it there. Because what I understood, it was all a big circle. And then it gets faster and faster, the circle. So you have a symptom, and that's another thing that I learned from Panic Away. Was it Panic Away or I love panicattacks.com? It was one of the two. And you get a symptom, and then you react to the symptom, and then it kind of and then you react to the symptom again. You get more symptoms, and then what's that symptom? And it just goes, and then you get a panic attack. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, because it's one of the things my therapist brought up in regards to on the big board in his room or in the office there on the charts on the board, just in regards to there's millions and millions of thoughts that you have in your head or millions of situations and things, and your brain grabs onto one of them, and then from there you take what you think is going on, your spin, your story, that is your thoughts, and then from that becomes your feelings. And then from that can become, if you have it negatively, getting to your panic attack and stuff like that. Just making your story more deep than anything you're thinking about or anything you're dealing with. that you don't have to be scared of. If I'm driving even on a side road, not even highway, where I'm, have the anxiety, like I'm just a side street here at local home, and someone cuts you off or zips by you, don't freak out that something bad's gonna happen. That moment just happened, it's done. But at the time, I'm like, oh crap, that happened. Was he targeting me? This and that. Do I know the person? Like that kind of thoughts. In my head, I need to get out of my thinking. I need to just the situation to situation. You might be freaked out or whatever because of that specific situation, but keep it in the situation and not continue it after the situation's over.
Yeah, and they taught me that, and I love panicattacks.com as well, where he said, like, guys like us with our mentality, it's exactly what you said, except in a different context. Like, it's like you're taking a walk outside and there's a group of teenagers or whoever or people, and then all of a sudden you happen to walk by, and then all of a sudden they burst out of laughter, right? And you're like, my mind used to go to, wow, like, are they laughing at me? Did I do something? Are they making fun of me? All these things. But really, like, he trains you, and it's hard at first, but he trains you to literally say, oh, wow, that must have been a funny joke they said. And then it probably has nothing to do with you. So who cares, basically? It goes back to that, so what? Who cares? Whatever. But it's really tough to do. I still have a little bit of it too to work on, but that's a big one, though. That's also a big one, right? Because you automatically think that, well, they must be laughing at me, or they're making fun of me, or whatever, and then you don't know where that's going to go, right? Are they going to come and take my wallet? I don't know. Know, all kinds of stupid shit that enters your mind. So you just have to, like, one thing that I started to do is like, oh, well, I disconnected myself from the situation. I stopped taking things personal. I stopped making everything about me. And I know it's really weird because that's what we tend to do as human beings. We tend to take things personal, but the reality is it might just be coincidence. So you might as well
random timing, in that situation.
Yeah, you might as well just treat it like it's a coincidence and move on. Like, really. But very tough to do with our kind of mentality. It's tough.
And that's how it was 2 years ago in a situation, just bringing up what you talked about from what you learned when I was working at my other job previous with coworkers when I was new and them, kind of talking off to the side or stuff like that close to you and stuff like that. And made me think, oh, are they talking about me or their opinion of me, whether how I look or how I've been acting or their small interactions with me so far at the job. Like, yeah, made it so personal. Now, it didn't affect me like a sad way. It just affected me of what the heck did I do sort of thing that made me just keep thinking about it sort of thing. So, yeah, those situations were okay. But in the end, they could have just been talking about something not even have to do with me, not even have to do with work. So, it could be their own personal lives they're talking about with each other. So it's just, just bad.
Exactly.
Look and see it going on than to it actually about me.
We need to get over ourselves in a nutshell. It's like sometimes it has nothing to do with us. So just separate yourself from it, move away from that as far as possible, and keep going. That's really what it kind of comes down to. That's what I learned.
Another thing that I learned, and I don't know if you've learned through YouTube or other research that you use, and your researches sounds pretty awesome, pretty legit in regards to professionals or other things that I've even been told from my therapist that I've had for 2 years.
You know what, Steve? It was, sorry, let me just jump in on that, because the reason why I did it that way is because I wasn't comfortable going anywhere. I didn't want to leave my house at that point in my life. So that's why it was so beautiful to have something at my fingertips that I paid like $40 or $50 or whatever it was, or $100. I don't remember, but it really helped me a lot. But I wish also I could have done what you did right away. You know what I mean? So this was just, it's not a right way or a wrong way. It's more like it was just the way at the time that made sense to me to do it, to take those first steps to sort of get better. So yeah, go ahead. So you were saying, I just throw that in. Some people are not able to physically get out of their house and go to, talk about it or whatever, but sometimes they just need somebody to tell them what's going on. And there's no dialect, there's no interview, there's no expecting you to answer something. That was cool for me, all I had to do was sit there and watch it and listen to it, and it helped me.
You do it at your own pace, and everything, how you want to learn it, with the videos or the website or whatever it was, the classes or whatever it was for you. What I was just that I wanted to share that I also learned from my therapy. When you're in a certain situation, and this actually was brought up on the show, talking about TV again, but with Pitch Perfect, that TV show I talk about. Not Pitch Perfect, Perfect Harmony. Sorry, Perfect Harmony. Perfect Harmony, that has the actress from Pitch Perfect, but Perfect Harmony, that with her character, Anna Camp's character, in regards to her anxiety of singing. She didn't want to try out for a solo part they had for the choir, and everybody else did, but she didn't. She was afraid of doing it in front of people, blah blah blah. But in the diner late night, the choral conductor was watching her. She was singing 9 to 5 song on the diner by herself, and then they have this one-on-one talk in his houseboat, and he's like, well, what helps you conquer your fear? What helped conquer your anxiety at the diner that you can't do it now? And she goes, oh, I was alone. And he goes, no, I was there watching you. And then she goes, oh, I was pretending. And he goes, there you go, be an alter ego. And I learned that from therapy actually a year and a half ago. And like an alter ego, or just thinking of yourself as something else, or in a different situation than you're actually in, to calm you down and get through it. And he said,
Exactly.
For when I'm driving and on the highway and stuff like that, being able to be something else, be a more confident either version of yourself or a character. Could be a character you create or a character you're thinking of. Like I brought up some wrestlers that I like and their personalities, and stuff like that. Like just be something, be that superhero you love. Just be whatever in that moment, and then you can conquer anything. But then again, like I said, it was brought up on that show Perfect Harmony with that episode, with that character in regards to her anxiety of not wanting to do the solo, and then finding her inner self, finding her alter ego, and be able to conquer that and become a soloist. But yeah, it's just that's the other thing I wanted to share that I learned. Finding either an alter ego or something in that vein, in that thinking, to be able to defeat situations, whether again for me it's driving, or whether for you, restaurants or otherwise, whatever the situation be, an alter ego or other way to be able to fight it off and be like, I got this.
I like that. I haven't tried that one, but it makes total sense to because I've always realized that when it came to Halloween or something like that, where I was able to put a costume on, or even like when I was dressing up to go to an arena or whatever, you just took the edge off, believe it or not, because I just wasn't really myself and who I was. It's like, okay, I did, and it's really weird because the attention's on me, and that's kind of what I was trying to avoid. But at the same time, it was like I was able to sort of just be somebody else, have fun with it and whatever, and then things just kind of happened from that point on. People were laughing and joking with me, just all kinds of positive, great experiences. So I like that. I'll have to try to work that in somehow. So that's good. It's like another tool, a tool in the belt, And I don't think you can ever have too many tools when it comes to anxiety or panic attacks or whatever. The more weapons you have to sort of work with you, I think the better. So that's a good one. I'll have to remember that one for sure. Thank you for sharing. That's amazing.
Yeah, because most recently I went to my dad's land, northern Wisconsin. It was like a 2.5 hour drive on the highway.
Wow.
As nice as he is, he wasn't going to spend extra 40 minutes driving on the side roads. But anyways, went on the highway, and what I used was the alter ego. My favorite superhero growing up was Batman, so I was being like a Batman and be like in that mind frame, be like how he would. He wouldn't give an it about driving on a highway at all, So the Batmobile, So it's like, be that for the hour and a half, along with enjoying conversation that I did with my dad. And just get over it. It's like you talked about earlier, getting over yourself in that situation. Well, really, in my other situations, I've done it 100 times in my life. I used to love driving the highway, so get over it and be able to do it. And I was able to because, like I said, in those moments, I was Bruce Wayne for a moment. I was the Batman and was able to just not care.
Yeah, it's it. It's good because like it also ties into another thing that I learned in the I Love Panic Attacks audio books and stuff. They were saying too, like picture whatever's happening to you, picture it like it's a sitcom, like you're, let's say you're Joey and Friends, and like, if there's an episode where Joey's in his apartment and he's freaking out and he can't breathe because there's not enough food in his fridge or something like that. Like he's having a panic attack, and we all know it's not funny, but we're laughing because we're like, oh my God, like look at him, he's losing his shit. So you kind of picture that yourself is a part of that, and like other people, like as if you're in a show and people find it funny, and all of a sudden it takes the pressure off of you, So that kind of ties into what you're saying. So that's really cool. That's really, really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. It's funny because and I said it too, like, you can never have too many of these weapons of choice that come to you. And it's funny because they don't come to you. They don't. In the situation, they don't. It's all about, okay, how am I going to get out of this and survive? Because that's what it is. It's a fight or flight. And
right.
You're going to get out of this to survive. And your brain doesn't really think, okay, we'll do this, do this, do this, do this. It's not automatic. You could have done it 100 times in a row, but that one time you're going to forget everything. Like I forgot so many of these little things. So it's like, maybe it's good to also like, have a little piece of paper, keep it in your wallet or something, and just pull it out. Just like, Cliff Notes, like, hey, exactly.
I have it on my notes, some of the things in there, and I just go to it quickly when I'm freaking out. Or like before my trip with my dad, I knew I was going to go on the highway. He told me, I'm going to go on the highway. And he said, though, I'll drive safe. I won't go too fast. I won't bump draft. I won't do this or that. So he was, caring, but he still didn't go on the highway. So what I did is with looking at my notes and pre-planning and just being able to be ready for it, knowing it's going to happen. It's not a surprise. We don't meet up and then you say, oh, we're going on the highway, sort of thing. So planning sometimes also for me in that way to be able to use then those tools when I feel I'm going to need to bring them out. I then do forth and did.
Yeah. That's awesome, because the reality is you're going to have situations where you can plan for it, like you, and
right.
It's going to be where you will not be able to plan for it. Let's say you went there and then, oh, hey, we have to go somewhere right now, so let's go. I can't leave you here. We got to go. And then and then, which is also sometimes good because the anticipation and the buildup is not there. So you don't even have time to sort of like freak out over it. Sometimes because sometimes that's the worst for me. Is like it's that plan up, that build up to it, that all day or a couple hours before, or when I'm driving somewhere to get to that place. Like if it's a long fucking drive, like it sucks. Like when I'm playing softball tournaments and I would drive like an hour and a half to get somewhere, like those are tough situations because although I love playing softball and everything else, I'm going into a situation where I'm not really with the same people that I know. I'm not really in an area that I'm familiar with, so I don't know where my go-to shit is and whatever and all this kind of stuff. So in that hour and a half, your mind is going crazy and you're like, okay, well, what about this? What if this happens? What if this? All these what ifs is horrible. You got to stay away from the what ifs. So if it happens, just kind of roll with it. But sometimes if you don't have the time to psych yourself out, it's also sometimes can be a blessing. But I think it's good, like you said, just have it handy for one or the other, whatever situation comes. Just sort of get just sort of tap into it and study it, and now you're going to be ready for it. So I'm gonna check it out. Like I'm gonna do that. Like I like, it's crazy. Like I've been going through this seriously for like a good 6 years, and I'm still learning. So like I think it's important to just always always learn with this and always try to just,
Yeah, well, with everything, you always keep learning, whether it's with your job and skills, where you have to learn and adapt because of reasons, or even with anxiety of what we deal with because of situations. Like, to be quite honest, I just had one where I couldn't freak out about quickly. I didn't know we were going to be on for so long, so I had this upstairs with that background there, and I just noticed my battery was going to die here in a couple of minutes.
right.
So I turned off my camera, went downstairs, plugged it in. Simple thing.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I wasn't able to freak out or worry or be like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
these hours is going to be a waste of time because it's going to die." No.
Yeah.
Like, you do what you have to do. You just do the simple thing. So, like you said, even for that one, not pre-planning, still was able to take 10 seconds, walk downstairs and plug it in so it can charge. So, like, even just sharing that right now, because that's what actually did happen and why I was off camera for people wondering. As I was moseying on downstairs. But yeah, like you said, there's times where you can't plan and be ready for it. I mean, for January of this year, the start of 2019, the 1st of January, my dad, he was looking up to get tickets for the Milwaukee Bucks basketball game on New Year's Day to take me and my sister and his girlfriend. At first, I said no because of anxiety. That'd be a 8-hour round trip from where I live to go down there and then come back. Excuse me. And I would come back at 1 a.m. And I don't like driving or riding in a car after midnight, period, let alone on the highway. So I was worried about that. But then I talked to my mom, talked to my therapist, that I talk to every week. And they all advised me that I should do this, spending time with your dad, family in general, and to face your fear. And so I did. And
Nice.
but my point is that with the months planning to it and trying to get myself ready, like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, kind of got me a little bit scared. That when the moment we left, I almost was freaking out to want to ask them to turn the car around and take me home. But I fought through it and I made it through, and I had a great time at the game and had some family memories, and that will last forever in my head. So,
and you're going to do that for wrestling one too soon, Steve. I know it.
Yes. Yeah, for hopefully going to a WrestleMania, being able to go on an airplane. I haven't gone on one for a long time.
Maybe we all go together and get through it all together. Who knows? I mean, that would be a success story in itself. But it's not easy. But I'm glad you did it, because it's so easy to get to that breaking point where you're like, okay, I tap in, I tap out, I'm done. Like, turn around, get me out of here. Just try to think of how relieved and happy you would be, at the end of the trip, like that you have the memories now and you could talk about it now. Like, I'm sure you feel a lot better about it talking to me about it now, rather than, I almost made it and I turned around and I came back home and I wish I would have got through it. Right. So there's always an end prize one way or another, So you just have to kind of push through it. And again, in your way, without even really recognizing it, with you pushing through it, it's almost like you're like, hey, bring it on. Let's go. What's the worst that can happen? At least you're with people that care about you. And if something was to, knock on wood, happen, God forbid, they're going to take care of you, and that goes for anything. For me too, in public places, if something was to happen, even if I'm by myself, like, there's going to be somebody there that's going to help you. There's no way they're just going to like let you be on the floor and oh well, it's just not in human nature. People help out other people, sometimes not voluntarily, but when it's needed, there's always going to be a couple people around that are going to help you. So that's what you have to remember too, right? At least that's what I have to remember.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, I'm definitely gonna take your challenge on, continue doing my alter ego, whether it's a Batman thing or a YouTube Steven. Like, I talked about my therapy sessions, how I'm more comfortable, more relaxed when I'm doing these videos, whether by myself or with, no matter what the topic is. So whether I'm Stevie K, whether I'm the Batman or whether I'm whatever I am to be an alter ego, being able to do the driving, do whatever to get out of my comfort zone, to find a new comfort zone, to find a new routine that can be a new normal for myself. So I think that'd be great. But to finish this video off, I guess I'll leave the floor to you. Any other last thoughts, comments, questions, whatever. And if not, also you can promote your stuff, social media and otherwise.
Yeah, look, no, I had a blast. I think this was needed. This is like my own little therapy session today. Maybe it may be a start of something, hopefully, that I can look into. So I'll update you guys with that. We'll definitely have to do another one of these well, we don't know when, but we will. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Always a pleasure. And like, you guys can find me on YouTube. My name's there, Mounty's Corner. You can't miss me. A lot of great things happening for the channel, and like a lot of beautiful things coming down the road. So subscribe to me, and you can find me on Twitter at Mounty's Corner. It's spelled the same, no apostrophe, but it's there, Mounty's Corner. Same thing on Instagram is Mounties_Corner. You can find me there. Facebook, Eddie Mount. So I'm always available for anybody really that's having a bad day, or you need some tips, or I'll gladly share with you the videos that's helped me, because I've done that with a couple of friends of mine that has randomly gone through this, and I know that the videos have helped them, big or small. I don't give a shit what you're going through, but we'll all kind of combat it together, and I always have time for that kind of stuff. So yeah, come follow me there and subscribe and interact with me. I'm very good at getting back to getting, at least in my opinion, getting back to people. I might not be always available for a collab or whatever, but I'm working on that, and that's going to obviously increase going into the new year. So I got some nice good plans for this channel and everything else. But yeah, thanks again, Steve. I mean, this is great. I've learned a lot. Again, I've learned some stuff today. And I've learned some, and I've reminded myself of some things that's helped me along the way. So very important to talk about it and raise awareness about it. Thanks again for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Always glad to have you. Everybody should check them out there on YouTube and on social medias as well. For me, like I always say, is I can actually get to my banners here. You can find me on Twitter personally. You can find me. There we go, at Army_Strong_06. You can find me on Instagram at StephenK_06. Snapchat, StevieK_06. There. Also wanted to promote, as I usually do each and every week, for the Whodunit game that I'm playing or was playing currently. We're getting near to the finals with Halloween. Whodunit Spooked there. I'll be applying for the double team game here shortly, looking for a teammate for that game, as they showed their whole 4 weeks of gaming. It'll be a short game on their Twitter handle for the game. But anyways, yeah, I had a great time here talking about anxiety and my update, and also Mounty's update on things for each of us personally. But I will see you all again here for my channel video later today. I think before the football game, hopefully, before the Packer game, we'll be doing my bold predictions for the NBA season. I'll give my thoughts on the NBA there. So I hope you all had a great time. Thank you to those that were in the comments today that were here. Conrad from Everything Pro Wrestling, and also Hunter from Hunter Gaming as well for being in the comments, and the others watching live or archive. Welcome to like the video, subscribe, share it, all that fun jazz. And above all else, as always, take care.